Okay, and today I will share the message in English. My name is Pieter Hoekstra. I'm your host in the Pieter's Service Management broadcast. And well, what you've noticed in the past, we did already several sessions in Dutch. And today we will start to do the broadcast in English. And let me have a look, because as you noticed, I tried to broadcast it also through LinkedIn, but that didn't work so well. But no problem. We will find our way and see how we can get this through everybody. What I recently posted on LinkedIn is the link to YouTube. So that's always good to have additional providers available to make your service work. And so today, 17th of December, getting close to Christmas. The idea is to share a couple of thoughts regarding service management. And well, to be honest, I announced it already. We will have the interview or talk with Paul Wilkinson. I recorded it already on Wednesday to be sure that we have it all well and set for the broadcast of today. So after the picture that I show you, I will immediately start to share with you the questions, the talk, the interaction that I had with Paul. And if you have questions, if you want to respond, just go to the YouTube live streaming and in the chat over there. And at the end, I will respond to it. Okay, so here we start. Enjoy and talk to you later. Let me introduce Paul Wilkinson. I know him already for many years as an expert in the field of service management. He spoke many times on international events. We worked together, that was at the time for KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines. You brought out games, the famous card deck. I will come to that one as well. Books, many articles on the internet. To say shortly, you influenced the IT world. And you wrote recently a link on, you wrote recently a nice message on LinkedIn, but I will come into that as well. Well, first of all, Paul, welcome, and nice to have you here with us. And how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for inviting me to come along and share some of my insights into what's happening. And yes, as you said, I put a recent link on LinkedIn and I was very surprised with the reaction, but I guess it was what I was expecting.
Yeah, nice. And well, one of the things, before we go to what you shared on LinkedIn, I just want to go back to, and I have my cards here as well, because I use them a lot during training. And maybe to explain for those that don't know what these cards are all about, it's a nice slide deck which you can divide, I can say, in 3 groups, like attitude, behavior, and culture. But what can you do with those cards?
Well, they were designed originally as an awareness and an assessment tool for attitude, behavior, culture. Because originally, I actually drew those cartoons right back in 1998 in a book we wrote.
Yeah.
1998. And I used to present the cartoons all around the world in presentations as a joke. But people then said, hey, that's exactly what we do in our organization. Did you come in our organization and look around? And then I realized that lots and lots of companies recognize this. So we decided, let's bundle them all together and stick them in a sort of card set. And then the card set can be used to create awareness and at the same time assess which ones do you recognize in your company.
Yeah, wonderful. And well, if I think back in the time that I provided ITIL trainings, I used those cards a lot during the interaction to make people aware of how important it is to have a couple of stepstones from attitude, behavior to cultural awareness. And but later on, you also wrote a book I think that was after you brought out those cards, and then I'm talking about ABC for ICT, which is also a couple of years ago. Yeah, exactly.
This one. Yes. No, the book actually came out the same time as a card set itself. So we had the cartoons from 1998, and we spent 10 years using them in presentations and in small packs. Then in 2008, 10 years later, we wrote the ABC of ICT book and developed the card set at the same time. Now, the ABC book, what I did was, I said, well, we've had this for 10 years and nothing seems to be getting any better. When I did the ABC workshops around the world, the same cards were chosen year in, year out, exactly the same cards. In 10 years, everything stayed the same. So we decided to write the book, and I asked lots of industry experts and ITIL authors at the time, I want you to choose one of the cards and I want you to write about it. I want you to write what you see happening and what you suggest people need to do to get rid of it. So the book was designed to raise awareness for attitude, behavior, culture, because for so long we've been implementing processes and procedures and tools, and everybody was still complaining that ITIL wasn't delivering the value. That's because we didn't address attitude, behavior, culture. And I remember when the book came out, I thought it was a wonderful thing. One of the Forrester analysts said, this is a must-read book for anybody implementing stuff like ITIL. But unfortunately, it wasn't read well enough.
No, that's and that's also why I liked the message that you brought out recently. And maybe let me first share it, because I'm not sure if everybody was able to follow you online. But basically, I think maybe I need to make it a little bit bigger. You were saying like, I'm offering a discount for early adopters. There is even certification coming soon. It was very nice. And I think you got how many additional response on that message?
Yeah. No, that was the second post. The first post was a week before that, when I said, I'm excited to announce a new framework. A framework's coming that will solve everything. Things will never be the same again. It's going to solve all of our problems. It was a bit sort of tongue-in-cheek, a bit of a joke, but I got 8 times the amount of hits I normally get on a LinkedIn article. And I knew that the framework that I was announcing was something called the shiny new thing that really helps. Because I know that we love shiny new things. We want to adopt the latest framework rather than getting existing frameworks to do the things that they should have been doing. We're all looking for the next silver bullet.
Yep.
So basically, I launched that on LinkedIn and I got so much response from it.
Yeah, really nice. And but what was for you the trigger to send out this message?
The trigger for me was the fact that still the ABC cards, the same ones, are chosen year in, year out, and have been since 1998. And here we are now, more than 20 years later, and still exactly the same. So we're still adopting frameworks, but not addressing ABC of ICT. Now, when I suggest presenting ABC at ITSMF presentations around the world, I get to hear this. No, we don't want to do ABC. You did that a number of years ago. We've done ABC. Haven't you got anything new, like AI or robotics or digital transformation? Because ABC's old. And that made me think, well, wait a minute, it may be old, but it's still a problem we haven't solved. So I wanted to give, again, a new awareness to ABC of ICT. So I suggested in the article that I wrote, maybe I should repackage the book, The ABC of ICT, this thing, and call it the shiny new thing that really helps. Yeah. And then I said, when I do that, I bet I get lots of people sending me emails saying, when can I get the foundation certificate? And people will be saying, yeah, but I already know lots about shiny new things. Where can I get the bridging certificate to make me a master of shiny new things? Yeah. And then I said, the tool providers will start coming up and saying, our tool is shiny new things compliant. So I was making a sort of joke about the fact that we all want the latest certificate. So I said, well, here's a new one, and it's called the shiny new things.
Yeah, and then you start to provide the certificate, and I saw people responding to it. Very nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
And
I did. I started awarding badges to people.
yeah,
And it's quite funny. I started awarding badges to people, practitioner in the shiny new things. And people started posting them on LinkedIn. And now
yeah.
I'm actually getting lots of people reaching out to me on LinkedIn saying, where can I get one of these badges? So once again, it shows that we all want the latest acronym on our business cards,
Yeah.
CISSP, DevOps, ITIL, COBIT, IT
Yep.
for IT. We all want so many business cards are now bigger than ever because we can't fit all of the certifications. So although we've still got all of these certifications, we're still not addressing the attitudes, behaviors, cultures.
It's no, that's really a pity, and I also see that the people also don't dare to bring it up, to talk about it, and providing feedback on each other.
Yeah.
If it is all about behavior, and you can solve so many small but also big issues in an organization if you dare to talk about those small
Yep.
attitude things or even bigger behavioral things. Yeah, yeah.
No, exactly. And that's what we originally said when we wrote ABC. I drew a picture of an iceberg and I said, ABC is like an iceberg. Much of it is hidden. You don't talk about it. We ignore it and we hope that it's not going to damage our transformation program. But when you hit those ABC worst practices represented in the cards, that can either stop your transformation program or send it off on a different direction where you didn't want to go. And that's why we built the cards as an assessment. And very often they are eye-openers.
Yeah.
I've often done these. I did this once with a board of directors. I had the board of directors of a large company choose 3 cards. But before I did that, I had the CIO and the management team choose 3 cards, your top 3 cards. They didn't know that the board was going to come in. Okay. So the CIO and his team chose 3 cards. Then the board of directors came in and chose 3 cards. And then we presented to each other the difference. And the business said, how come you thought those were the things that worried us? Yeah. When these are the things that worry us. So in a 1-hour workshop, we'd actually got business and IT together to explore underlying attitudes and behaviors and cultures that they were both annoyed with and that was stopping them both getting value from IT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then from there, you have a kind of shared reference point and you can start to set up actions that you need to do to improve the current situation. Yeah, yeah, really nice. Well, another thing that I think you wrote about it already a month ago, if I'm talking about principles. And the reason that I like to make the link with principles, because there is, I think, a lot between behavior and principles. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. What I said was, what I've seen happening is we all adopt these frameworks. There's Agile, ITIL, DevOps, and Lean, and we all adopt these frameworks and implement them in silos. And there's lack of alignment. So what I did was I examined Agile, DevOps, Lean, and ITIL 4, and I said they've all got principles. And if you analyze the principles, there's 3 of them that they all share. There's one which is focus on value or the customer. Yes. What behaviors will I see? And they say things like, we give each other feedback, we all know the goals, we escalate if we can't meet our agreements. They come up with a wonderful flip chart of behaviors. Yeah. And then I say to them in the game, okay, is this the way that you'd like to behave in reality as a team? Yeah, this is how we like to behave. Yeah. Then we play the business simulation game and everybody totally ignores the list of behaviors. They don't give each other feedback. They don't escalate on time. Nobody asks what the shared goals are. And then at the end of the simulation round, when it's all gone horribly wrong, I ask, who owns these behaviors? Yeah, we do. Okay, well, who was the we giving feedback when you weren't doing these behaviors? Yeah. So who do I blame for that then? Oh, the managers. I say, no, wait a minute. The managers are not even in the room. You're the ones that said, this is how we want to collaborate, but you didn't do it. So if you don't give feedback and correct your own desired behaviors, then don't expect managers to do it for you. So teams learn, we really need to start giving each other feedback and agreeing what are the behaviors we want to consistently see. And it's not easy. It takes effort, practice, feedback. And in fact, what we really need is coaches to help us do this. And that's why I think a coach role is critical as we start moving to these new ways of working. Because these new ways of working represent a totally different attitude, behavior, culture than we've ever had before with ITIL version 1, 2, and 3. This is totally different, and it's not easy.
No, that's right. And I'm also realizing that the whole mechanism of feedback is something that has been disturbed dramatically in our school system, because the way that teachers were giving feedback was with a red collar, making a big mark, like this is totally wrong, and your number was going down based on the mistakes. But it should have been, I think, the other way around, that you provide feedback, and the way that you were able to implement the feedback, that you would get a better mark. So
I agree.
Yeah, we are disturbing this whole learning process already from a school starting point, which makes it also difficult for people to give feedback. Yeah.
Because if you look at the way we learn in a class as well, you know, you're trying to learn something. If you go and look over somebody's shoulder to see what they're doing, you get told off. And if you say, can somebody help me because I don't understand this, it looks embarrassing and you don't want to do it. When really that's what we expect to see in work. People go and look at each other and say, how did you do this? Because I'm struggling with it. Can you show me what I can do? Can you come over and walk through it with me so that I can actually do this? Now, if you did that at school in an exam or a school situation, you get told off. No, stop cheating. It's not cheating. It's sharing knowledge, helping each other, and recognizing I still don't know how to do it. Will somebody come and help me and show me how to do it? So you're right. We've got to break out of those old paradigms.
Yep.
To start thinking that we can only succeed in today's modern environments by working together as teams. And until we start trusting each other, respecting each other, and helping each other, which are new soft skills that we're not very familiar with in the IT world. And we hope that adopting the new framework will solve that for us. Or we hope that by adopting the latest tools like Slack and Jira and everything, that it will solve it for us, but it won't. First, you've got to get the fundamentals right, the attitudes, the behaviors, the cultures.
Yeah. Well, what I recently learned while I was coaching quite a large service desk team, and they were suffering, of course, also for not being sitting together, but all working from their home base. And I found out they were often blocked with solving an incident or responding correctly on a service request. And I asked them, but do you dare to ask to your colleagues, help me? And so looking at the principles that you, maybe I should make my screen a little bit bigger to show it correctly on the screen. Maybe we should also put out there the fact that we dare to ask for help. And it's not only the user, but also ICT people, business, everybody around us dare to ask for help.
That's one of the 5 core behaviors of collaboration. That's why I ask people, what does effective collaboration look like? And when you can get a team to come up with the core 5 behaviors, that for them represents effective collaboration. And one of them could be, we ask for help, or if we see a colleague struggling, we offer help. That's one of the 5 core that could be for that team. Every team's different as to what does effective collaboration look like, but that should be, and it often is, a core one. For example, getting back to the simulations, often in the simulations, I know people don't know how to play the game because I didn't give them enough information. It was too quick, and we just throw them in. Now, I know that some people still don't know. They still don't understand, but they don't dare to ask for help. So I say, between the game rounds, was there anybody that's totally confused and knew that it would go wrong because they didn't know how to do this? And people put their hands up. Yeah, I did. So what did you do with the fact that you knew it was going to go horribly wrong? Nothing. What should you have done? You should have said, sorry guys, but I still don't understand what we're supposed to do. Does anybody else know what we're supposed to do? Can anybody help me? And then I asked them, did any of you see one of your colleagues struggling? Yeah, we knew that he didn't have a clue what to do. So what did you do? Yeah, we all ignored him and sidestepped him and all tried doing other things.
Yeah.
Okay, so what should you have done? Yeah, maybe we could have actually said, look, we can see you're struggling. Is there anything we can help you with?
Yeah.
So suddenly it's an attitude change.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so that's what collaboration should look like. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now in the next game round, let's try and practice those new behaviors and see if they make a difference. And then at the end of the day, we look back. Why at the end of the day are we performing effectively as a team and delivering all our results? Because we trust each other, we respect each other, we're helping each other, we share knowledge with each other. And I say that's what effective collaboration looks like. But you can never get there in one go. It took you 4 game rounds to get there. Now, in reality, it could take 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
Yep.
But you've got to continually practice with feedback, have some coaching until it becomes embedded in the way we do things. Then it's embedded in the culture. And that's how attitudes, behaviors, and culture fit together. Unfortunately, I see what's going wrong in the industry is this. Everybody's talking about mindsets. Mindset change. We've got to change mindsets, create new mindsets. Or everybody's talking about culture. We've got to create a new culture. We've got to foster the right culture. But very few are talking about we've got to change and create new, sustainable, repeatable, desirable behaviors.
Yeah.
So unless you align all 3, you're going to get it horribly wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the missing part. Like a predictable outcome is only built on one hand there to talk about behavior, do things according to the steps that you have in your processes and list of activities. What I like is what I recently learned from Jan van Boom, where he spoke about process, procedure and work instruction, which is the combination of activities, people and the tooling or the technology that need to be used. But the more that you do it in a predictable way, including the correct behavior, the more stable outcome you are able to have for the services that you are in the end delivering to the business. I mean, that's the whole aim, of course. Yes.
And that's why I like the fact that we've got our business simulation games. The first one was Apollo 13. You can see the rocket behind me on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
And the second was Mars Lander. And basically, I like to say in the games, it's not rocket science. It's really not rocket science. No. But we make it so difficult with doing these things rather than focus really on the basics. It's about getting people to behave in new ways. And the tooling, the practices, processes, and everything is there to support and enable new behaviors.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the clock. I'm realizing we could even talk longer about this topic because there are so many things that are popping up regarding attitude, behavior, and culture. But also knowing that we are at the end of this maybe very typical year, 2021, as an extension of what we have experienced in 2020. It's probably also a good way to build on reflection and feedback. But what is it that you would like to send to the people that are listening for the coming year? What is it that you would like to emphasize on?
I think it is that focus on attitude, behavior, and culture. And the first thing you can do is everybody's talking about value. And here's one thing that you can do. One of the core principles for lean, agile, DevOps, everything is focus on value.
Yes.
So pin up on your team notice boards by every coffee machine and put a flip chart by every coffee machine. Focus on value. What behaviors will we consistently see that demonstrates that we are focusing on value? You get a great dialogue starting as to say, what are these behaviors? That we know the goals, that we share the goals, that we prioritize our work based on goals. Start thinking in terms of how does behavior relate to value and outcomes, and start changing those behaviors. Just having the dialogue itself at the coffee machine with end-to-end people starts changing those attitudes, and you can identify some key behaviors you want to change.
Great. Thank you. And even today, if you don't have the possibility to meet each other at the coffee machine, just set up a message and ask for your colleague, like, let's have our coffee at the same moment. Turn over on your camera. I recently learned from a team in Berlin that they are having moments during the day that they put up the camera and the microphone to have informal contact. I see my son studying with other in the same way that they have their camera open and a microphone so that they can interact. And it's all a good way to influence behavior. Well, thanks.
And there's another good way that you're doing that, Pieter, just to finish on that, is our online games now use Mural, which is a really powerful tool. Okay. And you're right, what you could do is have those 10-minute meetings, coffee meetings, call it a 10-minute coffee meeting, where you all open a Mural board. Now, in our game on the Mural board, we got 4 key questions. What worked well?
Yep.
What do we need to improve? Are there any unanswered questions? And what experiments can we try next? So just getting people to fill those in, do it once a week. Write down the sticky post-it notes, what worked well, and give each other a pat on the back. Well done, team. They're the behaviors that are working well. Okay, what do we need to improve? And just share examples. Yeah, we forgot to do that. We forgot to escalate. Oh, yeah, we forgot to give the right information. Okay, so apparently we've got some undesirable behaviors. Are there any questions that we don't know about? Yeah, we still don't know the goals, why we were doing that. That's why we made those mistakes. Okay, well, what are we now going to do differently then? What experiments can we try next week? Just 3, no more, just 3. Yep. Okay, always record the goals. Always check to make sure that everybody understands the goal before they start on something and they understand who to escalate to. Okay, fine. Good coffee meeting, guys. Let's just all try these 3 behaviors for the next week. Then come back a week later and say, right, did those 3 now work? Yes. Move them across the board up to the top left where it says what's working well. And then choose another 3 new ones. What's not working well? What do we need to improve? Now, when we do this with teams, these are eye-openers for CIOs. They say, wow, wait a minute. If we do 3 of these improvements every week for each team, imagine how many improvements you'll have at the end of the year.
And that's a very nice example. Then you make small steps and you prove or you demonstrate evidence and proof for the people that it really works if you dare to implement and experiment a little bit with how it is in practice.
And thanks. Once again, that comes back to one of those 3 core shared principles that you talked about: continue learning and improving. So this is just one small example of how you apply that. It only takes 10, 30, 20 minutes. You could do it daily or you could do it weekly. 10, 20 minutes in a week, get a team together, go through this small exercise, continual learning, continual improving. As I say, it's not rocket science.
No, that's right. And well, that's a good message for the coming year. Thanks a lot that we dare to embrace this and to sit together, even if it is online, and explore what are the steps that we dare to do to improve and play around with feedback. Again, Paul, thanks a lot for having you in this broadcast, and we will definitely talk later on with new developments. I think in the area of DevOps, that's probably something that will come out in 2022. And okay, thanks. And
thanks for inviting me. And hopefully I'll see you sometime in 2022, face to face, maybe at an ITIL Belgium event. I should be coming across there, I think maybe in May. So hopefully we can catch up then. Yeah,
wonderful. We'll do. Thank you. See you later.
Good luck, everybody, in 2022.
Great. Okay. That was what I was waiting for to share with you, and I'm happy to have this moment with Paul. And as you noticed, the time is going fast, and we were still not finished. There were some other questions popping up in my mind, but that's for another moment. And thanks a lot for listening. And if you have any thoughts or replies, please go ahead, put it under the link of this broadcast so that we can use it as feedback for us for the next session. Thank you very much, and have a nice weekend, and of course for later on, a good Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yes, that brings me back to the time. Let me see, it's 5:30. We've been busy already now for half an hour. The whole idea of this service management broadcast is to keep it between about 30 minutes. Thanks for listening. For those that would like to see the recording afterwards, we will make it available through YouTube and LinkedIn. And for later next week, I've scheduled another session on, again, Friday, 5 o'clock Brussels time, and just before Christmas. And then we will move on in the beginning of next year, building up stories, not only about talking with people, looking also in different frameworks that we have out there regarding service management, books that are popping up here and there, interesting blogs, but also you, if you would like to bring in ideas, questions that you have, experience that I build up by doing some interventions during the week, facilitating or coaching, maybe I should say training teams, not only in unified service management, but also ITIL 4, of course, a known practice nowadays. On the other hand, active with a very nice team on looking into DevOps, building up new material, which will come up in 2022 as well. So, well, much more to share. Thanks for listening, and for later on, enjoy the weekend and talk to you soon. Thank you.